ask you some questions?
Sure.
Tori, can I ask you some questions?
Yeah.
Okay. What are your plans for after high school?
I'm planning STSU for elementary education.
Okay, and what's one thing you're most concerned about?
One thing I'm most concerned about is definitely the money, like money aspect and debt.
What's one thing you're looking the most forward to?
I'm looking forward to meeting new people and just jumping into my career.
Julia, what are your plans for after graduation?
After graduation, I will work at Rock Vet Clinic for the summer, and then I'll be going to STI for veterinary technician.
And after graduation, what are your concerns for the future?
I would say prices, because prices are really high right now, but also just like having fun and not being too like caught up in like real world problems and work and school stuff. I just want to live a good life.
Yeah.
Okay, what are your plans for after high school?
I'm going to the University of Omaha, Nebraska for elementary education.
Okay, and when you think about the future, what concerns you the most?
Probably money.
I'm here with
Elliot Namagala.
And Elliot, if you could go back in time and relive one event or memory in high school, what would it be and why?
Probably the Marshall hockey game this year. The boys took a bad L.
Yeah, hopefully we could get a dub in that relived moment.
And then what's one memory that you would relive if you could?
Definitely volleyball games, the atmosphere, and all the excitement was definitely a highlight.
I'm Patrick Krosky. I'm here with
Mr. Hiller.
And Mr. Hiller, what is... Oh, jeez, I already forgot it.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, and then what was your last? You look at that.
Mr. Stratton, what was your job, unexpected job before law enforcement?
I was in parts and sales, and honestly, that has kind of helped me now, but I would not have guessed I'd have been in parts and sales. So
That is super cool.
Okay. I'm Patrick Krosky. I'm here with
Mr. Hiller.
And Mr. Hiller, what was your most memorable moment about graduating high school?
Being done.
Okay, what's one thing you look forward to the most after you graduate?
Probably not having to be in school anymore.
Thank you.
And Mr. Hiller, what is one challenge that you think, oh my gosh, I'm so bad at this.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Flying, so I wouldn't have to drive anywhere because I hate driving.
Mr. Janiczeski, can I ask you some questions?
Sure.
Okay, if you had to choose a soundtrack when you were walking into your classroom, what would it be?
I would say either Eye of the Tiger or Bawitaba by Kid Rock.
Okay.
If you could go back to any moment in high school, any like events or activities, what would you go back to?
Home meets for wrestling, because they were always really fun for like warm-ups or just like hanging out with friends, and they were always just really exciting and stuff.
Next year, I'm going to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln to major business administration and marketing.
And going into the future, what are your concerns?
Probably figuring out what my career will be and what I want to do after college.
And if you could go back and relive one event from school, what would you?
Probably the Washington, D.C. trip, because it was just so much fun and I got to see lots of new places and spend time with people from our high school that I normally wouldn't.
Okay.
Connor, what are you doing after graduation?
I'm going to Iowa Western to play baseball and study business.
And what concerns you most about looking at the future?
Probably just when I'm done playing sports, it'll probably be a weird feeling since I've done that my whole life. I don't know how that's going to go.
So I'm here with
Kristen Schumacher.
And what is the most unexpected job you've had?
One of my first jobs, I made ice cream and served food at the Dairy Queen.
Oh, nice. And what is one lesson you think graduates should keep in mind as they navigate through the next chapter of their life?
There are so many different things that come up, and I think you should enjoy every opportunity and live life to the fullest.
Oh, well, thank you so much for your advice.
Good luck.
Hey Morgan, what are you doing after graduation?
Going to SCSU for animal science pre-vet.
And what most concerns you about the future?
Probably being in school for 8 years.
What are your plans for after high school?
Go to college and become a child life specialist.
What's one thing you're the most concerned about?
I don't know, money paying for college, I guess.
What are your plans for after high school?
I'm going to Augustana University.
What's one thing you're most concerned about for your future?
I think that focusing on school is going to be challenging, but definitely doable.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
To be invisible so I could like eavesdrop on people.
I would choose teleportation so I can go on vacation whenever I want.
Next year I'm going to go to Augustana and major in social work and minor in psychology.
And what are your concerns about the future after graduation?
I don't know, like passing my classes in college.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Invisibility.
What do you think was the most memorable moment of your graduation?
I went to a high school that didn't have air conditioning, and it happened to be like 90, 95 degrees with, I swear, 110% humidity that day. So we all sat in a hot gym for an hour to get through graduation. It was awful.
And what would you say is the most unexpected job that you've had before working here?
I did 2 summers, actually, of butchering chickens.
Oh,
yeah,
well, that's interesting.
What are your plans for after high school?
I'm going to the University of Minnesota in the Twin Cities to major in animal science on the pre-vet track.
Okay. What's one thing you're most concerned about?
School debt.
What do you think graduates can do to best prepare themselves for after school?
I think just being a flexible person. We all have plans on what we think life is going to be like or what we want life to be, but just being ready for those unexpected events that you will be prepared to get through, but just not as planned. So just being flexible is going to be really important.
Well, thanks for your advice, Mrs. Cook.
What are some skills you think are necessary for after graduation to be successful?
I think confidence is one of them, being confident in yourself and what you believe in and your values. I also think that dedication and drive, like being driven, is really important to do what you want to do.
Thank you. Can I ask you some questions?
Sure.
Okay. What are your plans for after high school?
I plan on attending the University of Nebraska Omaha for kinesiology.
Nice. What's one thing you're most concerned about?
Probably financially, just like money and stuff.
If you could relive or go back in time and relive one moment, what would it be?
Nap time in kindergarten with Mrs. Rust.
Me too. I should not have said that. Okay.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
To fly because I can get places faster.
And then if you could give yourself advice for 5 years from now, what would it be?
Just stay positive and stay motivated.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mrs. Weber, can I ask you some questions, please?
Sure.
Okay, if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
To not get into too much debt because it takes a long time to get everything paid off.
Okay, and then if you could choose a soundtrack for when you walk into your classroom, what would it be?
Well, it would depend on the class and it would depend on the day, but if it was my foundations of writing, I think it would be Welcome to the Jungle.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We got everything you want. How do we know?
That is super cool.
Thank you.
And if you could go back in time to relive one moment, what would it be during school?
Probably last year we played Fairmont in the playoffs and we had a walk-off win. Doesn't really happen often, so I'd go relive that again.
That's super cool.
That is super cool.
And then what are you most looking forward to after graduation?
Probably just meeting new friends from on the baseball team and meeting new people.
Okay, thank you.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Oh, I'd probably want to read people's minds, but that'd probably get me in trouble.
Going into the real world, you got to be able to be resilient, and you have to be willing to make mistakes and get up. And if you're willing to do those things and keep striving to be your best, then you can get anywhere you want in life. So,
thank you.
What is one piece of advice you'd give us seniors before graduating?
One advice I would say, give compliments when you can and be kind, because being kind can get you through a lot of things through life. So that's what I would do.
Thank you so much.
And Mr. Hiller, how do you think us graduates can best prepare ourselves for adulthood?
The biggest thing is, there's going to be times where you are going to be face adversity, and you're going to be willing to accept those challenges. There's going to be some hard times. There'll be some great times, but you're just going to have to learn how to overcome. And failure, is part of success. No matter what the world tells you, you need to fail in order to succeed.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. All right.